Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Fridays with the Wave. I'm Mark Healey. Every year around this time, Rockaway bows its head and pays respect to those of us who lost friends and family members on 9/11. And here, especially at the Wave, we make sure that we endeavor to embrace and cherish those traditions for the last 19 years. And so this week is no different. You know, we went to, not only did we tell everyone about all of the different events that were going on to honor those who fell on 9/11 and to, you know, really celebrate their memories and the people that we lost, but also to be there for each other. And we went to the NYPD Queens South Memorial on the beach. We went to the Richie Allen tournament. We went to the Richie Allen Classic, excuse me. We went to Tribute Park, of course, but we also went to Broad Channel this year. So we really tried, and as you could see by Allison Case's beautiful photo on the front page, we really tried to capture those moments and share them with anyone who was unable to get out and show their respects this year on 9/11. We also did a lot of other things in this week's paper. We were at the St. John's Episcopal Hospital's unveiling of their new emergency room. That's our second lead story this week. And you can read all about what's going on there. I think Jerry Walsh from St. John's, since he took over in 2015, has done a fabulous job at really getting St. John's, which is Rockaway's only hospital, really up to par with some of the other hospitals in and around New York City. Let's be honest, this is the only hospital we have here on the peninsula, and we really need to make sure that we support Jerry and the staff at St. John's that do such a fabulous job and really have been working hard to make sure that they can address all of the needs, especially during this pandemic, all of the needs that Rockaway has. And we also did another contest. We did a contest that recognizes Rockaway's favorite teacher. And you can read Allison's story this week on page 2. So congratulations to our Rockaway's favorite teacher. It's a great story, and it's really something that, especially now, with all of the stuff that's going on, with kids going back to school, oh, wait up, now we're not going back to school right away. You know, like our medical professionals, like law enforcement, like our first responders, everyone is facing such critical challenges today. And the teachers and the students and the families are no different. And we really want to hear from you. You know, you the families, you the students, you the teachers. Let us know the challenges that you're facing. You know, the best way to address those things and to get change is to let your local community paper know so that we can then put pressure on the elected officials to try to solve the problems that are going on right now as we all challenge, face these challenges during this pandemic. Speaking of the pandemic, one of the this week we had a special press conference outside of our office to talk about the winning flag design by Brent Gentile. And during the press conference, Senator Joe Adabo said something that really struck with me, and I made it the headline from the press conference, and it was that the flag, as designed by Brent, was, it brought a little bit of light to the darkness of COVID. And so this is the story, and this is the picture we took of the press conference, which was a lot of fun. We were glad that we invited Councilman Ulrich. He wasn't able to attend, but Councilman Richards was there. Stacey Pfeffer-Amato, Assemblywoman Stacey Pfeffer-Amato was there. As I said, Joe Adabo. And really, people were excited as they walked by. They wanted to see the flag. They wanted to know what the flag represents. They wanted to know what the elements were in the flag. So it was a lot of fun. We unveiled it. It looks even better in full three-dimensional form than it even did during the design process. So we're really excited for Brent. We're really excited about what the flag is going to represent for Rockaway, a real unifier, unifying the peninsula as one. And we really feel very, very, very proud to have been able to do this contest. Again, it was the brainchild of Ray Van, our community editor, born and bred here in Belle Harbor. He is a great, just a great addition to our staff. And he came up with the idea for the flag. He thought it would be a unifying force during the whole COVID situation, and he was right. It's a lot of fun. We had so many votes, so many entries, and we really enjoyed that whole process. So we had a little fun with it earlier this week in front of the Wave offices by unveiling, the actual design. And one last thing that I want to talk about, and of course every week you can get the Wave for just 50 cents, less than a cup of coffee. I want to talk about this week's editorial. Every week I sit down and I say to myself, what am I going to write about this week? What is the editorial board going to write about? What are we going to focus on? And I was really touched by the outpouring of folks that talked about the drowning that happened last week. And, I saw a lot of the responses, and I saw how a lot of people, and I've put that onus on parks before, that lifeguards should be on duty longer, that we should have had lifeguards, later than Labor Day, especially with everything that's going on, that parks should have made some kind of allowance to have people on the beach to enforce the no swimming rules. But then I also thought that, and we discussed it as a team, that we can't complain about government intruding in our lives all the time and then blame those same municipalities for deaths that could have been avoided. And I don't know how many times I've written editorials about the riptides, or that we've covered stories where young people, older people have gotten caught in the riptide here, have gotten caught in, and Friday night, I don't know if anybody was down by the beach on Friday night when this, tragedy occurred on September 11th. But it was windy, it was cold, and the seas were rough. I mean, on a calm day, the currents here are really hard to navigate. So again, every loss of life is tragic. It's terrible. But at some point, we have to stop blaming the government for things that can be avoided. And maybe it's signage, maybe it's just, I don't know, but it's deadly. It's a deadly thing. And this week's editorial and the beautiful cartoon, as always, by Thomas Kerr, poignant, but also it's a very sad situation. But again, I know that's our instinct is always to blame someone else when something goes wrong. And sometimes, sometimes it's accurate. The lack of planning, not only for the beach opening earlier this summer, which we were very vehemently opposed to, that we were very upset about it. We had Janet Fash, who's the chief lifeguard, Rockaway person who, has been around here for a long time and knows the currents and knows how poorly, the city had prepared for what was going on. And yeah, sometimes the city is to blame, but in this instance, I think that we all have to, again, if we don't want government involved in every single section of our lives, we can't then turn it around every time something goes wrong and say, well, it was the government's fault, or it was the city's fault, or it was the state's fault, or it was, in this case, the Parks Department's fault. From what I understand, the Parks Department, specifically the commissioner, Mitchell Silver, was very, very influential in getting the beaches open at all this summer, and was the one who really advocated for Rockaway to be able to have, not just Rockaway, of course, all the city beaches, but we only care about Rockaway, but all the city beaches being open because he felt, and I believe his staff also felt, that during a pandemic, people need to get out. People need to be at the beach. And I think that overall, a really good job was done. And so, again, we're not saying that because they got the beaches open that we shouldn't blame them for this drowning. But again, people know if there's no lifeguards, you're not supposed to swim. People should know that the currents here are very dangerous. And when you are at the beach and you see that the seas are rough, if you had a boat, you wouldn't go out in the boat. So what makes you think that swimming was going to be a good idea? Again, it's a tragic death. It's sad. 21-year-old young woman from Brooklyn. It's very sad that she passed, but that death could have been avoided. And I'm sorry if it sounds harsh, but we as a community, really need to start looking at ourselves and looking at what we have as a platform to make sure that change occurs, but maybe not always blame. Change is not the same as blame. Let's try to work together to solve a lot of these issues. And so with that, I invite you once again to pick up your copy of The Wave this Friday, as we do each and every Friday. It's always fun. It's always fun to spend some time with you. And look, Fridays are also a great day to stop by The Wave if you have any questions. If you have questions or concerns. And again, letters to the editor are a great way to show that. So have a great Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. I hope the weather clears up for everyone. I think Sunday's going to be a great day. But until next week, have a great one, Rockaway.